breaking the fourth wall.
What the fuck is up, my friends? It's John Escudero, and I'm here with my boy Greg. It's 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning on the East Coast.
It is
Jesus
3:50
Christ.
a.m., sir.
Jesus Christ.
Luckily for you, I work overnight.
That's what makes this thing work, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
This is the Dirt Sheet Radio podcast, the flagship show. If you found us, congratulations. Because we don't really tell anybody that the show is here. We just kind of go for it. And if you find us, that's great. And if you don't, you missed out. So, what up, Greg? How you been?
Been all right. The day is long. It gets longer, but you know what? You get through.
No, you don't. No. It's been a long week in the world of professional wrestling. Quite a lot of discourse. There was a lady on Twitter who got like beat down digitally for like, I think it was like a crotchet. You know, the people crotchet little dolls. They like knit them. I think she bought some dolls from another person and then reverse engineered them and learned how to make them and then started selling them herself. Which I was like, well, I mean, that's not the worst thing that somebody could do. But apparently, if in the crochet community, you stole someone's pattern, it's like the most evil thing you could possibly do. So
Isn't it crochet?
Yeah, I don't know. I would never.
Think it's crochet.
It could be. I'm sure. I mean, it sounds. That sounds more familiar. But I like the way crotchet sounds.
I'm sure you do. John, I will start this show off by gracing you with a fun trivia question that was posed to me today, and I'm proud of it because I rarely get these things right. John, what wrestler has been in the most TLC matches without winning a single one?
Oh, that's a good question. Matt Hardy.
So close.
Damn, Jeff. Fuck.
Yes.
I thought I figured Jeff had like a singles TLC in there somewhere.
He did. Apparently it was against CM Punk. I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, SummerSlam. 2009.
Okay. 9?
9? Yeah, yep. 2009 because it closes. It's a really cool ending actually because you know CM Punk wins the match. It's a pretty good match, and then he's standing over Jeff Hardy, and the fucking lights start flickering, and they go off, and they come back out, and he's standing over the Undertaker instead. It's a pretty cool.
Oh crap!
Yeah. Oh fuck! What's going on? Yeah, that was cool.
Conversely, who would you say has been in the most of them and also has won the most?
What up, CJ? I shit. Who's been in the most TLC matches?
Yes.
Been in the most, I'd have to say Edge. I don't know.
You would be correct.
It's Edge? Nice. Yeah. I was trying to think because I know he's got multiple other ones that weren't part of the original 3.
And Edge has also won the most.
Nice. That makes sense. I know Edge and Christian won. Didn't they win every one? Didn't they win every like TLC match? Or they won the Triangle and they won the TLC?
Well, so while like you could retroactively count the Triangle, that is before they started using the name. But they did win a bunch of them subsequently after the fact, and because Christian was either doing something else or gone, it did become Edge's signature match as a single star for some time. Although the only one I can think of, he loses to Cena.
It's the Cena one. That's a really good match. I have to go back and watch that again.
I just remember I remember the attempt at like nuanced acting where it's like Edge attitude adjustments him off the ladder, and it's just like Why did it have to come to this, man? Why you make me hurt you like that?
I'm chewing a cookie, so I was hoping you'd talk for a little
This
longer.
win,
But
I was still doing, the act. This win makes me sad.
I had to do it in front of your family, but you did it to me in front of mine. CJ says, as far as I know, Christian and Roman have the same amount of TLC wins. Holy shit.
Christian, I mean, probably.
Speaking of Roman and TLCs, I will never not take the opportunity to talk about how much I love the 2012 Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match where the Shield debuted.
Is that Kane, Bryan, and Ryback?
Yeah. I remember thinking,
God, that was the best thing Ryback was ever involved in.
Well, it absolutely was, without a doubt, hands down.
Kicking and screaming through it, but still.
I mean, he did his part. He's a big doofy guy. Did what the hell he had to do. I just remember feeling before the show,
to bring the match quality down. It's like, no, we won't have it.
I remember being like, oh, they announced that the TLC was a 6-man and that it had pinfall rules, and I was like, this is the fucking worst. Like, I hate WWE. God damn it! Why do you always do this shit to me? And then it ends up being like probably the best main roster debut match I've ever seen. Okay. It was awesome.
I was gonna say I was waiting for you to call it the best TLC match. I was like, I liked it, but I don't know if I liked it that much.
No, god damn it, no. This is the best main roster debut match. I've never seen anybody just come up there and in your first match have a full-on main event pay-per-view. It wasn't a main event, but a full-on pay-per-view match, just worthy of that kind of praise. It might have been, but it feels like
pay-per-view.
It's a TLC pay-per-view, but if there was a world title match on there, it was 2012. So I gotta imagine, I don't know, a John Cena or
I'm glad you remember
someone.
These years because I was about to go through all of them.
No, it's definitely TLC 2012 because it's the year that Kevin Owens was there. I think because Final Battle was taking place across the.
So you're right. It was actually the midpoint,
the middle of the show, right?
Yeah.
I fucking knew it. They would never give the right thing the main event in 2012. They were still fucking dealing with their problems.
In fairness, though, the main event was the World Heavyweight Championship match.
Oh, is it? Wait, who was defending the World Heavyweight Championship in 2012?
John Cena.
John Cena?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Who was he fighting?
You know who he was defending? He was defending the champion. He was defending his World Heavyweight Championship match in a ladder match against the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion.
Well, fuck
Nick
me.
Nemeth,
I remember this now.
FKA Dolph Ziggler.
I remember this match. The world title? You sure it was a world championship? That's crazy.
It's right in front of me. World Heavyweight Championship.
I'm desperately trying to remember him with that belt in 2012.
I think Ziggler was cashing in his briefcase, or like it put the briefcase in the match.
This is fucking dumb. Well,
you know what? Awesome. Okay, you know what? I've misunderstood it. Actually, the World Heavyweight Championship match is a match I think we like a lot.
Is it
inexplicably?
Is it Big Show versus Mark Henry?
Close. You are
Sheamus versus Big Show.
Yes.
Sheamus versus. There's only a handful of Big Show matches that I actually am gonna admit to enjoying.
Somehow Sheamus got a great one out of him.
Sheamus is.
I don't remember if that's one with the sneak punch.
He got multiple great matches out of Big Show in that feud. There were like 2 great matches. Crazy. Yeah. Sheamus is gonna go down as if he doesn't get a run outside the WWE, he's gonna go down as severely underrated. I don't think he's ever gonna be able to show it.
No, I don't think so.
I think that because it had been reported before that Sheamus had like back problems or some shit.
Yeah, like the spinal stenosis.
So he started working less, but
yeah,
then he starts having like even better matches.
You mean banger after banger?
I didn't want to say it.
Fair.
I didn't want to say it.
I will.
So no, like I think that it's more possible than we probably would want to believe, but
That's fair.
that's not to say that I think it's going to happen. I
Listen.
think that Sheamus is the kind of wrestler who would thrive in New Japan or any type of environment where you can express yourself as a wrestler in the way you want to.
So I've got two responses to that. One, I think he would have an interesting opportunity if AEW threw the bag of money at them to have those matches and get some nice cash on his way out of the industry.
Yeah.
But
I think
on paper, I think you're absolutely correct about New Japan. I don't know if that style is too hard for him now.
I think if he can keep, because like the idea is you can have the match if you don't have it every week, right? I mean,
sure.
I think he can wrestle a New Japan main event style at least once every couple of months.
I mean, yeah, if we're only bringing him in for like Kotaku and Hall and like the tour ending show, yeah.
I can't imagine they will have him there doing
the 6-mans.
Yeah, like Sheamus is in the second to last match before the King of Pro Wrestling whiskey on a pole race around the car track match. Fucking hell. I don't want to get into that. I think that I like Sheamus so much, but he's not at this point in his career. The company's not going to be WWE's not going to be using him in a place.
Level.
No, it's certainly not in a place where he's going to be with the main event guys having main event matches. At most, he's having 12, 13-minute heaters in the middle of the pay-per-view. You're like, damn, that left me with a taste for more. I want more.
The occasional slugfest with Walter.
That's the thing. Like, he doesn't have any more Sheamuses.
Yeah, there's nobody else who will let him just hit him hard and hit him back.
Oh, what up? We're doing a 3 a.m. live. We are doing a 3 a.m. live. We're fucking
We are not normal people.
We're not normal here. We don't do shit normally here.
So to clear it up, I realized it was all one thing. Dolph Ziggler and John Cena were in the main event in a ladder match for the World Heavyweight Championship SmackDown Money in the Bank contract.
I don't even want to deal with that. I don't want anything to do with that shit.
Basically, they had a ladder match for the briefcase that Dolph Ziggler won in a ladder match.
I only remember that match because it was a year of John Cena losing. He was just losing, having good matches and losing.
Oh, was that the Letters in the Sky year?
Yeah, no, the Letters in the Sky was what they used with him and Orton.
They also used it for him and Rock.
They used that for him and Rock?
Yes.
I gotta go back. I gotta look at that. Letters in the Sky is so. It's so crazy to me. That Randy Orton versus fucking
Cena match, the Iron Man match.
That Randy Orton versus Cena Iron Man, Randy Orton versus Cena Iron Man match is like my guilty pleasure. It's like one of my favorite matches. That I think it's definitely my favorite match that John Cena and Randy Orton ever had. Right. In a perfect world, it would have been the last match they ever had. I think if they never wrestled again after that, people would look back so fondly on this as this feud-ending, insane-ass Iron Man match. Because you think, like, John Cena and Randy Orton in 60 minutes, like, I'd rather eat a grenade. But no, like...
how they made that work.
They gave them the no disqualification stipulation, and they went out there and they did all this wild shit, and they had... I think at one point Orton tried to kill Cena with like the pyro.
He tried to blow him up, yeah.
Yeah, he tried to blow him up.
Somebody tried to do that recently.
Mark Briscoe. He threatened to kill somebody in the House of Black, but they're just magic people. They'll poof and come back or something.
That's also true.
Anyway.
Two things to that point that we'll get on Mr. Show. One, I have said on record, and I'll say it again here since you brought it up. I would be absolutely fine with one more if it's the last one for both of them.
On Cena and Orton?
Yes.
At this point, it's been so long that it would be cool to see them do it one more time. And they're both so evolved as wrestlers. I think they would probably have their best match if they had
Probably.
one now.
I would totally be down for the Cena Orton double retirement match.
Hey, you know what? That's probably impossible, but you know what's a double retirement match that's looking more and more possible every fucking day?
What?
Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness in the Wembley. Not that Bryan's really gonna retire, but
Right.
it certainly looks like we might actually do Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness in Wembley Stadium. As a fellow Ring of Honor baby fan, I'm sure you remember the Bryan and Nigel match that most people will talk about when they talk about Bryan and Nigel,
In
even though
England?
nobody brings up the 2 out of 3 falls match. It's a great match.
Isn't that the one that isn't that the one that went 60 and everyone got upset with the headlocks?
Yep. I love it. It's so ridiculous.
I
Anyway.
have a love-hate relationship with that match only because one, I was absolutely fine with the headlocks. I was down with the headlock story. You know what my absolute issue with that match is?
What's
He
that?
fucks his shoulder up.
Oh shit, does he? Now that you say that, I vaguely remember him standing on the apron and looking out towards the crowd with a fucked up arm. But
and
I have to rewatch.
The next week or very soon after that, he has to have the match with Kenta in New York City with the fucked up shoulder. Which I was at.
That's fucked up.
And like, no, see, the crazy thing is, like, this is why I say I have a love-hate relationship with it. I wonder what kind of match a 100% Bryan Danielson has with Kenta on that night. However, if you remember correctly, Kenta was on a killer roll in Ring of Honor, a killer run in Ring of Honor. Danielson was hurt, and it was a World Championship match in New York City. It almost kind of added to the atmosphere. It was just like, yo, I think Danielson's going down tonight.
He might actually lose.
He's got one arm.
Yeah. And of course, Bryan is a madman, so he's like, and let's work the arm. Let's work the bad arm. He's like, no, that's not work. That's not a work. That's no longer a work. You're actually just attacking the bad arm.
He's like,
what are we doing?
He's like, so yeah, like, what do you want to do? How do we avoid the arm? We don't. We go straight for it.
That's the same shit. He's still like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, the Bryan Nigel UK match is probably the match that eventually attracts me to Ring of Honor, because I think that's the one that gets people to write the articles, and that's the reason I find the article that makes me want to go watch that match.
Oh, you got it later than I thought then.
I did. I didn't watch Ring of Honor until 2007. I think Chris Benoit had died already. Because I remember I don't think I called Bryan like a Chris Benoit, but I just remember noticing a similarity in I don't even know what it was. I can't even tell you for sure right now. I just remember the feeling. I don't know. You know how memories are. Anyway, that match is one that sticks with me like for my whole life, and I never imagined, for a number of reasons, that Bryan and Nigel McGuinness would be able to go back to England and retire together in front of tens of thousands.
Do you think there is a more distinct or realistic possibility that there is a Nigel McGuinness like surrogate wrestler?
That would suck.
I mean, of course, but like it wouldn't be the thing you wanted, but it would be the guy who probably can't wrestle involved in the thing.
Well, he keeps saying that he's wrestling. He literally, like 2 days ago, he said he got in the ring and he felt great.
Sure.
And even before then, he had gear made for All In.
Oh, did he?
He did. Last year, he showed it off. He was like, maybe next year I'll get to wear this gear.
Oh, I didn't see that at all.
Yeah, man. He's ready to go. If you had to ask me, I don't know these men, but I remember when they asked Nigel about the Bryan match, and he was like, "I would love to retire with Bryan Danielson, or I'd love to wrestle Bryan Danielson at Wembley Stadium." And then they asked Bryan Danielson about what Nigel said, and Bryan was like brutally honest, like, "I don't believe Nigel McGuinness is in the condition. Like, I've kept my body in this perfect." Like, he didn't say that about himself. Bryan would never talk about himself like that, but he basically said, "I kept my body in this condition for the last 20 years. Like, I've been in the ring for 20 years beating my ass. Nigel's been out of the ring for like
Yeah,
however 6 years. His neck, he's like, he said something like, I think I would legitimately break his neck if we got in the ring together."
sure.
And I
It's
was like, Jesus, Brian, like, way to fucking shit on a dude's dreams. Like, damn. Because I was still looking at Nigel like a dude who probably can't wrestle. And I was like, damn, just let him say, like, he wants to wrestle Bryan Danielson in Wembley. Like, we all know it can't happen. Like, you didn't have to say that. But he made a point that he doesn't think Nigel should have been saying things like that and getting people's expectations up when his body is not in the condition to provide that, to satisfy that, what he's fucking making people want.
to satisfy that desire.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, the thesaurus broken. Fucking, but so
That is interesting to me in a sense.
that my thesaurus doesn't work. I'm sorry.
No, stupid. No, that whole that whole exchange. Um, I don't know how to read that because obviously it could be manifested in one of two ways. The thought had came to me that technically, um, I know they said they wanted to do the next match in a new spot, and the only answer for that technically, not referring to leagues, but like uh excuse me, areas would probably be England. The
Well,
only
that's
other
when they
answer
had their
is
first match.
no. The only other answer would be the fun answer for me would be if we had to do the surrogate idea is that we get Nigel to be there in the corner of Sabre for the big England match.
I could see that, but um, as I guess that exchange, when that exchange took place, I don't know if that's what sparked Nigel to work towards a match a year
I don't
later,
either. I'm
or if they only said those things because they had already agreed upon
of course.
doing something. Because it's been a year now, and now Nigel, for the last however many months, has been on Collision,
Just
shitting on
nagging.
Brian,
Nagging.
shitting on him, shitting on him, shitting on him. And they've started, like, it was just a thing that felt like a side thing. But slowly but
Yeah.
surely, it started to get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier. And at one point, Bryan Danielson legit like acknowledges it finally, like for the first time. Like, what the fuck is he saying? Like, what is happening out here? Like, I'm wrestling. Why is he saying these things? And then, fucking, and then Tony Schiavone now is like poking back at him, like, what is it? Like, you want to fight, Brian? Like, what is it you want out of this? I don't know when it happened, but I believe we're actively working towards Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness. Um, Not only based on TV things, just if you know Bryan Danielson, like you know Bryan Danielson, like I know Bryan Danielson. We know that he's felt a deep guilt about what happened with Nigel and him when they both got signed at the same time. Bryan lied to WWE doctors and he got the job. Nigel told the
was
truth
honest.
and he didn't get the job. Bryan goes on to become the champion of the world, the biggest star in the company at a point. Nigel McGuinness takes a horrible turn and he ends up having to retire because of illness and ends up going into commentary and ending his in-ring career. And Bryan has always felt guilty about that. I think when he won the world championship, I think he
Also, because
called
he's
Nigel.
partly complicit in it.
because they beat the shit out of each other, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But yeah, I think when he won the title at WrestleMania, he even called Nigel and like thanked him or whatever, just because he never wanted him to forget that he knows, like, I know, man, I know what
Yeah.
happened. Like, I never want you to forget that. And I think
yeah.
that if he was ever going to be presented with an opportunity to give Nigel McGuinness that moment, I think Brian would do anything in his power to make that happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if now he's also gonna like end his full-time run. Like, this is an opportunity to have this just beautiful tribute to everything that they've done. And even though their careers took two such crazy separate paths, they somehow were able to bring it back together in the end to tie together like that. That would be almost too good to be true. I almost don't want to hope
That's some
for it.
shonen bullshit.
Like, this is legit like the end of a fucking anime. God, if I hear fucking in the bushes in fucking Wembley Stadium, God damn, man. I can't even express to you people how much I want this now.
1, 2, 3, 4. I never got into the second song he had.
No, I only
Actually the
remember
third
fucking
one
with it, but
technically. You know, I remember the first one. He had Roll On, and I enjoyed that one.
it was like
When he first started.
2004 Nigel, 2005
Oh,
Nigel.
was he there that early?
Yeah. All right, yeah. What is it, 2000? Let me see.
With the iron.
Fuck, I swear he shows up earlier than
Yeah.
I always
We'll
remember it
roll
being
on with our
earlier.
heads held high.
I guess we have things we're supposed to talk about. We just had the whole conversation. It's just it's not on the schedule. But that's how we do.
That's perfectly fine. I guess if to put too fine a point on it, like I'd be totally happy if he had the match. I'm a little concerned. Like, I'm not concerned. I'm curious, like, how the big concern I think was the hepatitis thing. Like, is that dealt with?
Yeah. Shit. I don't know how it works, and I don't want to.
I don't either. That's why, like, I
don't
was
want to
hoping you
say
did.
like, yeah, he's fine. The hepatitis is gone, and it's like, no, you fucking idiot. Like, that doesn't go away. I don't know how it works. You might want to Google that, but I think that whatever it was that was keeping him out of the ring, I vaguely remember hearing that he wasn't dealing with it anymore. But I don't know if that's true, and I don't want to attach myself to that because I'm using another window to look up a whole different thing. And if I start trying to look up a third thing, I'm gonna confuse myself. Yeah. What the fuck what was I about to bring up? Damn it. Oh yes. Before we move on, I had mentioned earlier on the Dynamite show, I had a really interesting thought that AEW has improved as not just improving, but they've improved, right, as a product from where they were in 2020.
As a production,
as a whole fucking show and product that they're providing. But I feel like they were battling. They're still fighting a really, really strong battle online against it's just bad perception, just grifters and loyalists, and there's a lot of things piled up against the company online. And no matter how much they improve, that's always going to be shield around the meat, around the fucking where's the cream filling? It's around mash. So, because you think about it, right? Social media is the single largest conversation driver in the fucking world.
yes.
You scroll on Twitter, you don't even watch wrestling anymore, but you see a fucking conversation has pushed into your algorithm because it's being talked about over and over and over again. So it could be a good thing. It could be a damn clip of The Rock having the most epic entrance you've ever seen in your life. And you don't even watch wrestling anymore, but it showed up on your feed because everybody keeps talking good about it. And you're like, wow, that's sick shit. And I'm going to check that shit out. I'll look it up on YouTube and see the rest of the clip. It's great. But it also works in the opposite direction. These the grifters, the Eric Bischoffs, the Jim Cornettes, the fucking what's the other one? There's a lot of them. You know them all. But not just them or the conversations that they start. It's the people that fight back against them that they keep
There's
the
Usos.
conversation. They're engaging them and keeping their conversation at the top of the feed. So you're never hearing about what's good in AEW if you don't watch it. If your algorithm is not tuned to AEW things, you're never gonna see the fans be like, yeah, this is great. You're just gonna see 8,000 people liked Ice Cube's post about why didn't AEW have video packages
Do you mean Ice
or
Cube's son?
Ice Cube son water the or a picture of of half empty arena. That's just the perception around the show.
John, he's Icicle Jr.
God damn it. These are the things that permeate the these are the main conversations that are being had. So if you don't know AEW, all you know is the conversation that's being had about it. You fucking hear well, they don't have anybody watching, right? Like well, that's not actually true. And then if you try to explain that, whatever. So I feel like if they're doing a great thing by just deciding, you know what, fuck that. We're just gonna serve our main fan base. We're gonna give them what they've wanted, what we promised them in the beginning, what we used to give them, what we got away from. And the conversations around this product at the core level, the core of the AEW fan base will be positive because you're serving your fan base. If that core conversation is positive, and if you guys could just ignore, if you would focus on having a genuine conversation about AEW rather than engaging the stuff is untrue and stupid. Like, why do you have to fight Jim Cornette because he said Riho can't wrestle? Like, you watch the show. You know she's one of the best fucking wrestlers in the world. Like, shut up. You're like you. What's the point of proving that to Jim Cornette? You're never gonna prove it to him. He does not care what you have to say. He thinks he knows more than you, and he does. So he doesn't.
Yes.
And so if he doesn't enjoy it, you'll never be able to convince him otherwise. Why are you fucking wasting your time? Speak to the people that understand what you understand. That's the only way that this company is going to win that online battle. If they continue to serve their fucking fan base. I mean, you're always supposed to reach outward. You should always have at least one or two segments that reach outward. But the core of the show should fucking be for the people who brought you to the dance. That fucking 800,000 people that watch live every goddamn week, and the other 800,000 that watch on YouTube and DVR and Hulu and Pirate, like the few million people who are going to watch no matter what.
Yeah.
When they think something is bad, then you fucked up. Right? That's so I think that they kind of got a little help in that battle today because Eric Bischoff's podcast got canceled. And I laughed. It did. And I laughed because Tony Khan just responded to that. Like right now. John Alba posted a tweet that said, some news tonight about the future of Strictly Business with Eric Bischoff, basically confirming that it was ended. He said it was because Bischoff has a busy schedule, though the fans of the show claim that it kind of feels like it came out of nowhere because they actively do this show every week, and it's Bischoff's it's what keeps him relevant right now.
Right.
But Tony Khan's response is,
But I think unlike Russo, who complained about it, and a few other people who probably feel that way quietly, I think Bischoff has been enough of a shrewd businessman to have other revenue streams in his life.
He's got the TV thing, right? He's got the him and Harvey something production or something.
I think he also has a like a beer product.
I know he has other money, but but I mean, I'm only going by people who actually listen to the show because I don't.
I'm just saying. I'm speaking to a positive for Bischoff that other guys seem to not have.
Yeah, this isn't his main source of revenue. Like he'll be fine, but he was a main voice of like disingenuine discourse, like just the dumbest unprovable shit, like just outlandish fucking bullshit. Like, I've
Sure.
worked in television, so that I know that all these things are wrong. But I love everything WWE is doing. At a certain point, it became really transparent. And even people who listen to the show were like, it used to be that he would give a biased opinion. I mean, an unbiased opinion, but it kind of felt like the same thing over and over and over again. So I just laugh at Tony Khan's response because this guy is got no chill.
Yeah.
He's basically said, sunsetting this fraud of a business podcast before the next AEW media deal is a wise choice. Because one of the main thing Eric Bischoff says, and basically almost guarantees to people, is like, oh, AEW is gonna be fucked when
The TV deal's up.
it comes time to renew. He knows this because he's been on television. He knows, and thus, since he knows, he fuels the imaginations of the people who don't watch the show but listen to him. And so,
Yeah.
if Bischoff knows, it's got to be true.
Yeah.
So it's always good to see one of those shut down. Go to hell, fraud. I think we
Nah.
outlasted him. I'm pretty sure we did. Sweet.
Oh man. Jeez, if I had to have an opinion on it, like, I agree with you in this wholeheartedly in the sense that like people just need to focus on just listening to people who like what you like.
It's not even, but it's not just that, because like I don't want it to be like you're putting your head in the sand to criticism.
Not necessarily. I think people who like what you like, I for the most part, I think I like what you like, but I'm still quite critical of the AEW product.
Yeah, you should be. I think we all should be, but like you should be critical of anything you watch.
Yes.
Yes.
But I think there's a difference between like there is obviously I don't think there's obviously a difference between people who are simply critical of a product and people who don't like the product already having to sit down and watch it because it's technically their job. It's the movie critic, the artsy movie critic who has to sit through freaking the new Superman movie even though he hates these fucking movies.
It ends up being like, here's a list of the reasons why I don't like this. And here's why I always
Here's a list of the reasons I didn't want to be here to begin with.
So is anything good about it? Because like they're like, no, these are the things I don't like about it. Yeah. So I mean, shit. Like, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's fine. It's I also just think like trying to remember what fitness I was forming at the time. You're talking about a lot of guys who just come from a different time, so obviously they're not gonna like a lot of this modern stuff. Once again, there are criticisms to be had about some of the modern stuff compared to the old stuff. There are a lot of people who are incredibly constructive, and a lot of people who are just like, I don't like this, and my hate of this product is financially viable.
Some days I really wish that I wish Jim Cornette was objective, because he's such a fucking wealth of knowledge, man. I really wish.
I don't think he can be though.
No, but if he had started that way,
can be.
I try my best.
Yes, but you'll try your best, but like it'll always come from a place. It's the same reason why I don't understand why people give Meltzer so much time about. His start.
Well, like because you can. I don't think anybody can be like 100% objective, but I think you could be self-aware. Like you can be self-aware to the point where you're like, okay, I know where this is coming from, but I'm gonna express it anyway.
Sure.
Which I try to do, and even though sometimes you fail, you just strive towards it. But what I mean is, if he hadn't built the whole thing on the gimmick of hatred, like if he had actually just said what he felt, because it's a fucking gimmick. There's just the hatred to the point where he wants people to die. Like it's fucking hilarious. It's been the gimmick since Vince Russo. Like it's the same fucking gimmick.
I mean, I wouldn't say this isn't the same man who threatened people at a Dairy Queen. So
I mean, no, for sure. Like it's just one of those things where like, like normal people, this is a phase. You can move on from it. Cornette, this happened to him. He realized the kind of attention he can get from it. He found a way and he stuck with it, which is, it's his business. It is what it is. It makes him a lot of money. I'm sure this is full-time job. Just
Yes.
hating, which I can't believe is healthy for you. Blood pressure, but or your heart. But he used to be this way and objective. He used to, when you watch his shoot interviews, he would be Jim Cornette, but he had really, really cool shit to say. Like, you would be like, man, I gotta write this down. I knows what the fuck he's talking about, but I just don't find it anymore. I don't fucking see it anymore. And I guess maybe that's because they're only sharing clips of the bullshit. Maybe there's some goddamn nuggets of knowledge to be found in the sea of Cornettisms even today.
Maybe. I haven't watched a full episode in a very long time. And that was like, I used to enjoy Jim Cornette's episodes like full through, but at some point it was just like, while I agree with you on a lot of these things, I'm tired of listening to like a bunch of negativity about pro wrestling, even the stuff that I don't like myself. I feel like I'm just surrounding myself with like, all right, well, it's time for an hour about all the stuff you hate. I'm like, God, I need to go listen to a New Japan podcast. We can talk about things we like. Fuck.
it's so weird because when I was younger, I guess, and I would speak out, like I'm gonna speak out. I wasn't a fucking politician, but I was get on the forums and I'd talk about things I didn't like about WWE.
Yeah,
because I wanted them to change it. Like I wanted to like it. I was like, damn it, I love this show. Look, the ratings are down. Look, this means you should change, and they wouldn't. But I'd be like, God, this is bad. You should change it, and they wouldn't. I don't know that these criticisms ever come from a place of wanting something to change. I think it's just like, I need to shit on this thing because it makes me money. That's what I mean by I wish he was just giving. I'm sure maybe it started. You said you used to listen to it. Maybe he used to be this way in the beginning. Maybe he actually did try to give a genuine opinion and he just fell deep into his hatred. He fell deep into a dark hole of negativity. I'll try to keep us out of that, but that doesn't mean I don't want to shit on something when it deserves to be shit on. I like shitting on things.
I think the big difference between us and that would be that a lot of this is deeply personal for Jim.
That motherfucker has issues, man.
I think the dude feels just differently about pro wrestling than we do, which isn't to say we don't love it, but like we also didn't come up in it in a way where it's just like, oh man, this thing fed my family, it fed my dog, it put some of my best friends were in here, some of my best friends have died because of the shit that went on in this industry. Because like that's the stuff why I think you understand that Jim feels incredibly strongly about this industry. If you watch the fucking Candido and Sunny episode of The Dark Side of the Ring, that is when you know that like he's not a heartless asshole, but he feels very strongly about the things he cares about. which it's the sort of thing that happens when it's just like something you strongly love comes with a lot of things you will strongly hate when they push up against your views.
I'd like to believe that it's genuine, but it's so sustained and it's so there's no change to it. If a genuine feeling changes, it goes up and down. You're like, okay, well, I can admit that thing, but I hate this thing. But fuck, but this is like such a straight line of hatred with no real fluctuations.
I mean,
like, like it has to be it I don't know. I refuse to believe it's not a fucking money thing. Like, there's just no way. Because why would you at one point, like, I mean, even logically, why would you change? Like, I gotta fucking eat. So if I decide tomorrow that I'm gonna be a real guy after fucking 10 years of making my money doing this, I'll fuck my whole life up.
Sure.
Bad. Well, hopefully I don't get to that point. We're here. We have to shit on something. He was like, damn, I actually really like that.
No, well, we came here to have fun. So
I actually really like that. No, Greg, the sponsors. You have to shit on it tonight. No. Oh, fuck. We had things. We had a list of things to talk about. A whole list. We haven't even touched 45 minutes. Haven't touched the format.
Let's get to the format.
All right. So, The Rock shows up in a what a whirlwind this has been these last 3 months so far.
Yeah.
In WrestleMania. Good on them, first of all. Just in general, the whole thing so far from January to now. Good on them. They've been rolling with the punches. They've been kind of feeling this thing out, trying to move the way the crowd wants to move. The Rock has got his finger on the pulse when it comes to this story right here.
Mm-hmm.
I fully believed they were going to push through and do exactly what they planned to do, the way Vince would have. But they surprised the shit out of me, and kudos to them on every fucking level. The Rock himself.
The Rock says.
The Rock. The WWE before he got here was doing fine. Cody and the Bloodline and Gunther and Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn and all this shit. They had brought the WWE to a great place out of a fucking shitty hole. And I was like, wow, this can't get any better. The fucking Rock shows up. And he takes everything they've fucking done for the past 2 years or 3 years to get better and just makes it look like like child's play. It's not just this attitude era shit. Like, I know that's like an easy surface level, like, oh, when he's cursing and they're bleeding and blah, like that shit doesn't mean a fucking thing. The Rock comes into the WWE with this chip on his shoulder. First of all, the failure of Black Adam, the failure of DC, the very public, his first real public slip and fall. That shit fucked him up. He came in here with a vengeance. Not only that, with this experience, not just the experience of being an action star or being an actor or being on a movie set, the experience of being a producer, the experience of having creative control on his sets, wanting to frame things like a director, and thinking of the WWE as of a production with storylines and like because the people in the company, they treat the thing like a TV show, but there's certain levels of kayfabe they just won't break. Like they still operate in that weird place. It's weird. WWE is like this big or corporate entity, but there's some real wrestling people and high levels that keep it at this wrestle level. But The Rock comes in, he's like, this is a TV show, so you can tease. You should be teasing things and laying foundations and putting out. My first indication that things were different was when they put out that WrestleMania teaser trailer. We didn't know what was going on, right? What had they done? They just did the Hollywood press conference. We didn't know what the fuck was happening with this Cody thing. I mean, the Las Vegas press conference. Rollins is involved. Then they released this teaser, and it's Cody and Rollins staring down Roman and The Rock. And you're like, oh, shit, did they just like, is that the tag match? Like, did they just announce it? Like, what is going on? They're teasing this thing that they haven't even acknowledged on television yet. They haven't even referenced on television yet. The WWE to do things like that because they exist in that weird kayfabe where they had to have announced the match or referenced it or challenged for it first before they can release a commercial for it. Then, it could have still been a fluke. Then you start seeing he does the L. You stupid L finger. And at first we were like, well, that's got to be a coincidence. Probably he's too big. He can't close his he's too muscly. He can't put his thumb away. But the next week, he's sure to show the camera like, no, I've got a thumb up. It just sounds like a stupid small thing when you listen to it, but it's not. It's the way they should be doing things across the whole show. This past week, he comes out. He comes out unannounced. Cody's cutting a promo. Fucking Rock comes out. I don't know how long they worked on this, but he probably had the single greatest presentation I've ever fucking seen in that show. The way they shot it, the way they shot it made it look like he walked out of nothing, like he appeared out of nowhere, like a fucking ghost, like a demon,
like the not the hot cam, but like the ramp cam with the lighting, and he just sort of like pops out of the entry.
Oh my god! And then he stands there like this god, like an actual god. It was him and his people. They used what they had around them to create this presentation. Like, not just like, oh, let's give him some good graphics, some good music. Like, no, let's shoot this fucking thing from back here so that when I walk out, it looks like I'm walking out of fucking shadows. He's coming into this thing with this Hollywood vision, this outside vision, but he's also at his core a professional wrestler. It reminds me of Bryan Danielson when he left the WWE, and out of the WWE experience created these ultimate version of Bryan, like this the perfect professional wrestler. I think that The Rock just came back to this company as this ultimate version of himself. Just
sure.
Complete experience in the wrestling side, complete experience on the Hollywood side. And he's coming, and like I said, not just that entrance. They do the damn thing where he's beating Cody down in the back in the rain. It's rain. He's beating Cody down in the perfectly shot rain, and they stand in front of this oddly jacketed truck that only has John Cena and Steve Austin on it, even though none of the WWE trucks look like this right now. So like, these are the kind of things that he brings to the product that completely changed the fucking game when it comes to the production in WWE. My only concern is that it's only for him. that's kind of what scares me right now, because this wealth should be spread across the fucking, everything should be like this. You see these fans, they're eating up like, whoa, the camera didn't cut for 2 minutes. This was incredible. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, that shit doesn't even matter. Like, you need to see what this big bald bastard is actually doing beyond the fucking cool muscles and posing and making himself look like a god. Like, they need to take that shit and give it to everybody. Cody Rhodes needs to be getting that presentation. Roman, how do we do this? What is going on here?
Wasn't Cody technically already getting like the hottest presentation in the company for a
way? And it didn't fucking mean a damn. It didn't mean dick compared to what The Rock has going on. But he just came out here like, they're saying that he's making Roman look like a bitch. Like, and I believe that's part of the plan. I believe like the idea is Roman's gonna be like, I'm getting overshadowed here, so he's gonna fight back, and that'll be the reason why they have their beef. But I think on a different level, he's making the whole fucking company look like a bitch. His thing stands above and beyond everything that's going on. Thankfully, everything that's going on happens to be good. So it ends up being like a good cake with some really, really good fucking frosting on it. Mm. The only thing I wonder about is like, is he going to take his frosting with him? Because that kind of fucks the cake up. Because the cake was good before you told me it could taste like this. You can't just leave with the secret ingredient now and just leave me with this dry ass cake. I was enjoying it before you fucking got here. You know what I'm saying? Where do you stand on that?
Whew, lots to unpack there. For one, I think a lot of that's a lot of that is kind of interesting in the sense, like when you talk about bringing back the perfect wrestler, I think that's true in a few ways. I think it was always very interesting to watch that. I remember watching what I thought was Okada becoming that, because Okada brought a lot of the Western stuff to Japan that they didn't use. That's how we got the pan out with the Rainmaker pose. And that was for New Japan a level of cinema that they were not like known for. Um, uh, I I would hope that when he leaves, that the lessons were imparted onto the creative staff. I think Hunter is a guy who listens, and I think Hunter is most especially to in contrast to the people before him. I think Hunter is a guy who even listens a little bit to things he doesn't get.
Do you think that, because we know that The Rock came in with Brian Gerwitz, who
Did he?
is so if you don't know, The Rock, when he rejoined the WWE, he brought with him his longtime creative partner, Brian
Mhm.
Gerwitz. Brian
Had a
Gerwitz,
spot on Young Rock.
yeah, Spotting Young Rock, is an executive in Seven Bucks Productions, and
Mhm.
more famously to you wrestling fans, was one of the very first Hollywood writers to be hired by the WWE in 2002, and a longtime WWE creative team member in the ruthless aggression era. Um, so
Was, if you remember or just know at all, like was he a wrestling guy?
like no, like he's one of the
Not a
dude. Like,
fan.
oh, I mean, I'd have to look up what his fandom was before he joined the company, but I know
Okay.
that he joined from an outside place. Like he was one of the first
Yes.
TV writers to join the company. This was the first.
Yes.
This was the beginning of the end. No, no. This was the beginning of bringing in writers instead of using wrestlers to do creative.
Yes.
So that's the kind. If you remember, mid 2000s WWE is, what it is, right? That's the kind of guy you've got here now. But he's here with
Those
The
were some
Rock.
tough times.
He's only doing The Rock's story. They're only working. I assume it's him and Paul Heyman, right?
Mhm.
And whatever other high ranking creative people they have on their team. But they're only working on The Rock shit. So I mean, I wonder if the company is even capable of coming up with things like this when he's gone. Because I mean, yeah, The Rock is on the board. Sure, he's not ever going to be really gone, but he is going to be shooting a film from like May to August. He's going to be gone. He's literally going to be
Yeah.
gone. So I'm really, really concerned that we're going to end up with the yearly WrestleMania, post WrestleMania lull again, because we were doing fine. We were
Okay.
enjoying everything we had. This son of a bitch comes here and shows us Hollywood production. Like,
And like like even though he will be going forward as an active member of the board, The Rock has his hands in many pockets.
yeah.
You know, still runs Seven Bucks Productions, still runs an entire football league, still is an active Hollywood actor, also does this.
I'm saying.
So while he can have his hands in the pot for the company, yeah, there's a lot of things he's gonna miss. Hmm. Like I said, I'd hope that a lot of the philosophies are still there. And granted, not everybody, like, you can't. I don't think this is something you'll see across the show, but I think I'd like to believe that there are lessons to be learned in ways like, how can we present so and so as like a star, right? And maybe they've just struggled with that. I can't speak to, like, how do we reach these people with these guys that we have on our roster and not, find ourselves stuck with having to depend on these older dudes to come in and help out during WrestleMania season. But like I mean, I don't know who are they attaching to lately other than Cody Rhodes. LA Knight.
The roster is pretty stacked right now. People love Drew McIntyre, love Cody, love Punk, love Rollins.
I'm concerned that Drew McIntyre once he's done with Punk, he's got nothing.
I don't know. I think he can. I think he was doing again. I think he was doing fine before Punk. I think there was people were worried about what he was going to do, but he had that bloodline and the idea that, I mean, post bloodline, not the actual time he was in the bloodline, but this thing he was doing where he was like, "They fucked me, so like I don't care what I have to do. I'm gonna get my revenge on them." And he was starting to become this tweener, aggressive guy, and then the CM Punk thing benefited from him already being in a place where he can cross that line and play with these things.
Sure. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that's interesting to me because he's in a hot place right now. Is that hot place because of the fact that there's always a lot of emotions about a CM Punk thing program?
Oh, the thing about the CM Punk Drew thing is that he's getting a lot of his attention just by being good at Twitter. Like
Yes.
if
That's another problem I have with a lot of guys. They are better on Twitter than they are on TV.
But I mean, he's been able to bring that to television because this past week, thankfully, I mean, being in this program, I guess can call it program, even though CM Punk's not really around, but being more in the program with Rollins,
it's absolutely a program because he keeps bringing it up.
He definitely does. So he benefited from that because they were told, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre were told on Monday to just go out there and do the thing. And
not dangerous at all.
It got a little close, but they went out there. They went out there and they had one of the best promo segments on Raw in very, very long time. Just because they were so just fluid and just going back. It didn't feel like a wrestling promo. It felt like two dudes arguing, which is perfect.
It's interesting. We were talking about the what stuff and why it seems to happen a little less in places like AEW and compared to like Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné. And we were talking, and I was mentioning how like Mercedes still cuts her promo in that soundbitey 5 words a statement, kind of way, right? Her promos work in a structure where she says a few words, stops, says a few words. So the editing team has a very easy time taking sound bites out of that and just using them for whatever video package they want.
Yeah.
These guys are just flowing out there, and these are 3 men having a conversation.
I think that's part of what made CM Punk himself stand out when he was in the WWE the first time, is that everyone else is cutting wrestler promos and he's out there just talking to you. And I always wondered, like, why isn't everyone just talking to you? Why haven't you all stole this from him? And possibly you'd get in trouble otherwise. Like someone would be like, fix that. It doesn't sound like wrestlers speak. You bring up Mercedes, I actually think that's a
and Punk's and Punk's like only half getting away with it because like he's incredibly popular, but he's clearly got heat with a lot of people.
I thought it was interesting how far they were willing to go on Monday with that stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that. Well, I was gonna say that's the kind of stuff that would have been, that would have been like the hottest shit on the show if the Rock wasn't around right now. Like, maybe there's something to be said about the company still relying on old men to come in and overshadow every single thing that's going on.
Certainly.
But I think this is different because the company was fine. Like, they genuinely didn't need him. Although it's one of those things where you didn't know how much he could enhance it either. But
sure,
we're here now. So the ending of Raw in particular had a moment where Cody Rhodes, he got his ass beat by The Rock. He's beaten bloody. He's busted open.
threw a
I,
threw a
I,
trash can at him.
that was funny as hell. I question. I mean, I'm not gonna spend my time being like, "Oh, you're not gonna work me," but I question if we did a pre-tape so that we can use a capsule because we don't want to do blading here anymore.
Maybe.
And that's fine. I'm not like I'm not anti-capsule. I don't want to be like I prefer they mutilate themselves.
I mean, if you do it well, I don't give a shit.
Right? If I can't tell, I can't tell. But the reason I ask is so the end Raw. This is cable television. This is the Raw leading up to the show.
Yeah.
They beat Cody bloody the first time they've used blood on purpose on WWE TV. Well, I mean, probably since Brock when him and Randy did the thing, he busted Randy open on purpose. But I wondered what that meant for the product going forward. A lot of people have taken that as, oh, it's the end of TV-PG, and I thought like, well, it could be because the show literally ends with The Rock looking at Cody on camera and saying, like, that's why you don't fuck with the final boss, and it's like he said, fuck. So I was like, oh, well, it could just be a case of it's The Rock. You know what I mean? Like we were just talking about with the rest of the presentation. But there have been some hints towards I guess a little bit of freedom. Maybe as they get over to Netflix, they can start changing things. But I mostly wondered for WrestleMania in a couple weeks because like you would imagine that if you were going to do blood for the first time in a long time, you would do it at WrestleMania, right? Like that's the play. That's where I would have fucking done it. So since they've done this on Raw already, do is the rule of escalation, right? It exists. You gotta put you kind of gotta bust somebody open at WrestleMania. Like he got beat down, bloody. They cursed at him and all that shit. He's got to retaliate, do the same thing. And if we're doing this, if Cody's doing it now, and it's not just a Rock, I imagine the new champion is not gonna want to step back. Like he's gonna want to. I want to do that again. I want to get some fucking heat. I want to get some color. I want to have some fun. I'm Cody Rhodes, damn it. I love to bleed. That kind of. Do you think that we're gonna see? Do you think we're gonna see this again, or is this just a one-time thing? Let's do a pre-tape. Let's use a blood capsule. Or do you think he used a blade, and this is just the first time of the return of this method of storytelling? Oh, are you muted, or is that me? It might be me.
No, it's me.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's a return to this sort of thing. I'll be the first to say that I think it's The Rock gets what he wants.
Yeah.
And The Rock gets away with things. Earlier in the show, Punk called them a bunch of dipshits, and Drew's immediate response is PG, brother.
He did. He's like, that's funny as hell. I thought that there was also the report that wrestlers were mad that Dwayne was cursing and they weren't able to curse. So I thought like
Yeah. Also,
I thought like
and
he
supposedly
totally.
wasn't there this comment that like TKO was like, The
I
Rock
don't
should
think
be
you consider the kind
supposedly.
of
I said,
like because like I thought like if you consider the kind of people that worked at TKO already,
sure.
like the fucking Dana Whites and shit like that. I'm like this tame ass shit that's going on this TV show. I don't think TKO gives a fuck. So
I
of
guess
course
it depends because like now you're talking about the product and the brand and what the brand sort of represents monetarily, especially with the the promotions they do with like Mattel and Kmart, well, no longer Kmart, but
Rest in peace, Kmart.
yeah, all these other like kid friendly, family friendly brands.
I think there's always Mattel, which is why I didn't think that a move to Netflix would mean anything too crazy. But Mattel also works with TV PG-13 brands. You know, like PG-13 is a different animal from PG from TV-PG. TV-13 PG-13 even gives you an F-bomb. A single one.
You get one.
You get one, but it's an F-bomb. Jesus says, I'm about to fall asleep. Here's a secret, Jesus.
Oh my God, stop it.
I smoke a lot of marijuana. So I like I said, I asked because I thought like it would be really weird. It would just be really weird to me to do this bloody beatdown on an episode of Raw on the television show where the sponsors would really be bothered and not do something that escalates that on the pay-per-view.
Sure. The difficulty with that in my head is, well, if we're thinking about night one, I don't know if we want to bust up Cody or Roman before the big match on night two. Seth is right there. You could do that, but Seth wasn't involved in the thing, so it feels kind of toothless. And busting open The Rock feels like a big deal because, you know, the pretty actor man cutting his pretty head open.
He's also more experienced with that kind of shit too. Like he's The Rock. I think that though another aspect is, even though it is WrestleMania night one, even though Cody and Roman have to work night two, The Rock and Cody's situation has become so heated and personal, and night one is the only time that they're gonna have a real in-ring fucking match together.
Yeah.
So I think that
because you assume The Rock isn't going to be back for a year.
I don't know about a year, but certainly a few months. I think this Cody
in the
match.
Ring?
Yeah. The way that they set it up is that you can't go straight from this match to The Rock and Roman.
Okay.
The Cody Rock thing has arguably overshadowed Cody versus Roman. Cody and The Rock's problem, it has to have a one-on-one resolution at some point. That's why I imagine that The Rock was gonna pin Cody at WrestleMania because they already introduced the idea of the bloodline rules thing, and you can once you say that you can have a bloodline rules match at WrestleMania, you end up fucking underwhelming everybody if you go back and you go to a singles match like, oh, we could have had all the bullshit. Now they're gonna be doing headlocks and wrest holds. Fuck, like no, like I'm pretty sure that The Rock, is gonna be pinning Cody Rhodes. I forgot I had this thing.
I think some people are also a bit. Some people, maybe the high conspiracy people, are a bit intrigued by the no bloodline member.
I don't believe that. Do you believe that, Dwayne? He doesn't have anything to say. I don't think they're gonna go have the second Cody Roman match, and it's gonna be like, and this time no interference. Like, this isn't the Continental Classic. This is fucking WrestleMania. They're gonna do the most overbooked fucking 67 run-ins.
You thought WrestleMania 17 was out of its fucking brain.
Dusty's coming from heaven to join to do the fucking father-son Kamehameha at a Roman Reigns. It's gonna be
fucking
a whole thing.
Dusty gets a special exemption from Tony just for WrestleMania.
He flies in on a helicopter. No, I definitely think it's going to be. Well, I think that the night one match is going to be booked as any other main event. Like
Okay.
I think Cody prides himself on quote unquote doing the work. I think that he would probably he'd seek it as a badge of honor to have two full on WrestleMania main events
Oh,
back to
sure.
back. I mean, and Rollins, he'll be
I
all
mean,
right,
from
man. He
his
ain't doing
point
that
of view,
much.
he's just like my daddy wrestles 60-minute matches every night a week. I could do 2 for 30.
I'm saying, and Roman has had a match since January. Get the fuck out of here. You get your 2 matches in a row, you'll be all right. You fucking get. So no. The thing about Roman in particular, people basically saying like The Rock has overshadowed Roman. One, like I said, I think The Rock overshadowed the whole company, such as Roman. But two,
Mhm.
I think you can heat the Roman thing up whenever you want. Like I think Roman can step up at any moment and do a thing and be back at feeling like number one. But they haven't, and it
Mm.
bothers me that we're this late in the game and the whole fucking lead up to Cody versus The Rock to Cody versus Roman has been Cody versus The Rock. It's weird. It's very weird, especially because they finally had a one on one face to face on SmackDown last week.
Yeah.
It was the most mid ass paint by numbers, nothing fucking back and forth bullshit that I'd seen out of this whole feud. It
Really?
was like, what the fuck? They did a moment where like the coolest thing that happened was they had both agreed not to come with anybody, but then Roman came with people anyway. And then
As you
the,
do.
Cody's friends from Raw showed up in the crowd in black hoods. And I was like, oh, look, it's
They came out.
portals.
They came out the portals
Yeah.
on your
So,
left.
yeah, all right, I see. It was like whack. That's why I was like, damn, this was supposed to be the segment that makes me think, all right, Cody Roman's still in the game. Let's
The
go.
money promo.
It was fucking ass. I was like,
The WrestleMania go home money promo.
bring the Rock back out here. Like this is trash.
Actually, now that I think about it, we have where are you, calendar? We have um when is SmackDown again?
On Fridays.
Okay. I can never remember if I can never remember. SmackDown has been on what 3 days? And I've lost count.
Thursdays, Fridays, and Tuesdays.
Yeah, so sometimes I forget which one it's on now.
And I
So
won't
we have
be denied.
we have 3 more episodes then
God left is my pride. Of
of,
SmackDown?
of TV.
Oh, of TV. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
get SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown.
Yes.
Shit, man. There is no time to make Roman feel like he's any more important as important as Rock before WrestleMania. It kind of makes me want to have him pull the trigger on him hitting the Rock now. Like, just take him out now. Like, I don't know how else you're gonna put him back in the game, but we'll see, man. We will see how this turns out. I don't believe that Roman is fucked.
No.
I just believe it's an interesting observation to see how small he looks next to The Rock right now when he's been the biggest thing in WWE forever.
Though you've also argued that is on purpose.
I have. It's I think it will make for a really interesting story next year when the Roman and The Rock thing starts. So, couple more things to talk about before we get out of here.
I remember you wanted to say something about Mercedes earlier.
I love Mercedes. Oh well, I talked to I mentioned this on the Dynamite show, and I don't know if this was what I was gonna say, but I guess I'll bring it up now. Is that
Okay, because we were talking about her promos and like the stilted WWE
oh
style.
that I was going to say that Mercedes is going to have to really get used to how things work in AEW because she like Saraya before her it's just coming from that overly scripted, overly produced environment. It's different game over here. This ain't that bull. This ain't no
Overly
fucking
scripted,
time for that
overly
shit.
produced, and with its own signature cadence.
No, bring your ass over here and talk like a person. We wrestle here. You take your candy ass back to Stanford with all that shit.
We doing wrestling.
This is where the big boys play.
Well, hold on. Yeah.
No, but I think that she's come in with such an aura and such a presence around her, and she feels like like one of the biggest things in the company. But see, she's surrounded, like not surrounded, but like the first thing they did, they put her in they stuck her in the women's division, basically, like stuck her right in, like she got head first into the women's division, and
Oh,
now
not the top of it, which did surprise me.
that's kind of the thing that makes it feel weird. But I won't argue that it's the wrong move, because I don't think it's the wrong move. I think that sticking her on the top immediately is the wrong move, because you create resentment in the back, you create resentment amongst your longtime fans, and really you just don't want to go down that road. So putting her in the middle first, it feels weird because she's so fucking big. She's like a big fucking kid at the kids' table. Like, what y'all doing here? Like, go get off them fucking kids. Let them have their lunch.
Yeah.
You fucking. But no, so
I'd argue it's a little like the Okada booking. We have to make Okada feel significant, but we can't put him in the main event. So you get to carry this belt.
There's definitely that, because that's what they're doing with Okada, like you said. But with Mercedes, it's exactly the same thing, but it feels different. I guess because the quality of the wrestlers in the women's division is different from the quality of the wrestlers in the men's division. But that feels bad to say. That feels wrong. Like these girls have been treated like the middle of the card for a while. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, so it kind of feels like Mercedes is playing on the middle of the card. But I think the idea is that she will elevate them. And I mean, I get it. I think it's going to take some work, but it's not impossible. And now that I can see the vision, kind of what they're doing here, I think it'll work. Like Jesus says, he says, I think she's going to cost Willow. I don't know if she's going to cost Willow the championship. Basically, Willow won a shot at the TBS championship, which I thought when Mercedes first came in, you know, she has a pre-built-in issue with Willow because Willow won the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, and Mercedes broke her heel. So, in story, Willow took everything from Mercedes.
Yeah.
So that was already built in. But then when they started, Mercedes stared down with Julia, and I was like, oh, she's going after the TBS title. But then I was like, wow, that's a really odd match. Like I didn't like that's Mercedes versus Julia is, you know, interesting. I certainly never thought of it, but
right.
You know, I don't know if Julia's there. But I guess she's champion, so she better be there. But no, you know, surprise, it's Willow who's getting the shot at the TBS championship at this pay-per-view. And I'm like, well, I see where we're going with this. It kind of feels like Willow's going to win the title, and then Mercedes is going to be like, bitch, you thought I forgot. And, you know, so I'm down with that. Now, my question is, what is keeping Mercedes out of the ring? It's been 3 episodes of Dynamite now.
Well, some would argue this is the right thing to do. I heard multiple times that putting Okada in the ring on a random collision was a bad idea.
Man, shut the fuck up. The dude, this is no, not you. I mean, because that's such a like. This is not the company where like this is just how it goes here. Okay, they did it with Ospreay. Ospreay comes in, he's putting a high quality match. He gets the match on Dynamite. Okada comes in, he fucking has the trios match. He gets the high quality match, and he's fucking champion the week after. Mercedes comes in, she doesn't have a match. Fine, doesn't have a match on week 2. Cool. Week 3, okay, interesting. They've set up the pay-per-view title match. She's not in it.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, is she even cleared? You're like,
Okay.
I'm because that's just like the way AEW
The
works. Like
wheels in your head are spinning.
even if she was in this feud, even if they're working to do this feud and build towards a Will and Angle thing,
Yes.
they would have thrown in like a Serena Deeb match. We're just gonna showcase Mercedes in the
Boy,
midst
do I look forward to that.
in the midst of all this. So I'm really curious as to why she hasn't wrestled yet, and I wonder if she thinks it's gonna build it's gonna build suspense, gonna build excitement for when she finally does get in the ring. But she's been out of the ring for so long that I don't think adding more time to it is gonna help. I think fucking I think it's making us feel like we're stalling. It makes it feel like she's fucking around. Like, what did you come here for? Like week 3, she's doing. They release a graphic and she's doing commentary for the number 1 contenders match for the pay per view, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? What is this shit? By the way, great match between those 4 ladies on Dynamite. They killed it. But yeah, it's just really weird. And now
I did catch a little bit of that, and I had a good giggle to myself because I was like, Julia Hart, Rhea Ripley singing your theme song.
it's very catchy. Julia Hart, Rhea Ripley wearing black eyeliner and singing your theme song.
To that extent, I will say, I need Julia Hart to cut more promos.
I needed a lot more out of Julia Hart, but she got hurt in the middle of this, and it made everything.
Could speak.
Yeah, yeah. Her promos aren't
speak much.
It doesn't help that she's usually like at the tail end of like a House of Black promo where everyone is like this Shakespearean character, and then she comes out like, the house has nice nails.
Shut up! You're such an asshole.
She backs away into the dark, like, okay, Julia.
It's weird because she does still have that bubbly voice that made the
cheerleader gimmick.
Yeah, I was gonna say the name of the group, but yeah.
Oh, Varsity Blondes.
It's that bubbly voice that made the Varsity Blondes gimmick work. And like on some level, it works to have the bubbly voice at the creepy thing, but sometimes you're just like, girl, you pretended.
It's like Roxanne when she does the angry face. Aww, so cute.
Adorable, angry little Roxanne just getting redder and redder.
Somebody get her an icy.
Man.
No, I might bother some people by saying this, but okay. I think, oh man, it's weird.
I love that.
I think the AEW women's division is very fucking improved from where it was a year ago when we were.
Well, that's not gonna bother anybody, but let's see.
No, but there's a but. There's a but, and it's a really nice one. I think
it's Tony Khan.
I think that we love Julia. We love Julia Hart here. We've loved Julia Hart since day one, and I'm happy to have seen her
since day one.
Yeah, I'm happy to have seen her come this far. But I think at this time, I think today, it might be that the 2 champions on the top of the women's division, Toni Storm, Julia Hart, are becoming anchors. I don't know if we're there yet. I don't know if they're not syncing anything. But when you got girls who can hoop, like, it's time to stop playing a game. Like, Julia Hart is fucking awesome. She's great. She's developed so far. Her match with Chris Statlander felt like a graduation, and it's like everything she's learned has come together. But in the time since, it hasn't really, for a lot of reasons. She got injured. She wasn't on TV as much, but it hasn't really done much for her. So it's time to move on. That's fine. And we can come back to it. But probably time to just move along on from the Julia Hart thing and probably slide it over to a Willow Mercedes program, and that seems to be what they're doing there. So that's great. I think that'll really help the perception of the women's division and the TBS Women's Championship, which kind of has been just chilling on Julia Hart's shoulder. But
also big fans of Willow here at the podcast.
Big fans of Willow. I remember rooting for her to get signed. Then you have the Women's Championship, which I've said before that I thought Toni Storm had kind of lost the balance between the character and the wrestler, and because the character is working so well,
it's okay. You got Mariah May now.
Yeah,
she brought it back.
Who's got it? She's got it. Mariah May's figured it out. Mariah May is awesome. But I don't know what.
Well, no, I was saying she brought the old Toni Storm back for you.
Oh, fuck my life. No, I don't know what we're doing with Toni Storm right now. It kind of feels like the whole thing has run its course, and we can't figure out how to take it to another place so that we can hold on to it until maybe Jamie comes back or until Wembley, so we can get the belt on Mariah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, does obviously the whole thing not ends, but obviously there's a point where Mariah and Toni come to a head. But do you think that ends with Mariah getting the belt?
I think it could. Okay. I think in a break glass in case of emergency situation where Jamie Hayter is not able to come back in time for Wembley Stadium.
I don't think she does.
I know, damn it! I don't want to think about it right now. Oh man! But if she doesn't, then you do have the built-in Mariah May thing. Mariah May is from the UK. She is got this story with Toni that's already built in. I don't know that it's Wembley worthy, but
I would agree with that. But I don't know how much in that division is.
Yeah, I mean, but now that Mercedes is here, they'll probably have some Wembley worthy. They probably have a lot of more Wembley worthy matches that they can do. So it's weird because I wouldn't have wanted Mercedes to take the belt from Toni. But I did. Yeah. I want Toni involved in something. Like, this is not working right now. I had already started souring on the fucking thing, and then she has the match with Deonna.
Toni's idea, so Toni's probably loving it.
I'm sure, because it was working. I mean, it is working. And when she speaks and when she talks and when she gets in on the mic and she has her moments and they go viral, and it's like, those things work. But when she gets in the fucking ring now, we lost the excitement of a Toni Storm match. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what happened, but it stinks.
It's interesting in the sense that I think that they did so much work to sort of like revamp the men's side of the AEW program, but it does kind of feel like the women's program has been trapped in the MJF vortex.
In that weird larger than life thing.
Yeah.
It's probably just time.
What did he say? Britt and Megan?
Yeah, so Jesus said Jesus says we're waiting for Britt Baker and
big old
the Megasis.
The Megasis, yes.
Megan Bain. I love Britt Baker. I don't agree with none of that online bullshit that she doesn't fucking hold up. I think she had her run, a great fucking run, passed it off to Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa dropped the ball. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I'm not gonna sit here and speculate. Her back got fucked up. Her relationships got fucked up in the back. She was stiffing. She was sandbagging. I don't know what the fuck was going on. Yeah. Britt Baker lit the damn torch. Not just carried the torch. Lit the damn torch and ran with that shit.
Can I say I liked hardcore Britt Baker more than straight up wrestling Britt Baker?
Yeah, because Britt Baker's wrestling style is very reminiscent of the wrestling you learn at the PC. Which is, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's just the way she learned and the things that have worked for her. So I enjoyed her run. I enjoyed her time on top, and I would even argue that there has not been a single women's championship run that has been as successful as Britt Baker's championship run was. Just for, I mean, entertaining, it depends on what you're looking for. I think that there have been women's champions with better matches for sure. Which is what I'm into the program for anyway. But
no, haters fell apart. Paige was for pop. Tony Storm's first one was
yeah, and Thunder Rosa fell apart, and fucking Sheeta. Anytime Sheeta wins the belt, I'm like, yeah. And
she just never had a great run, but we are just massive Sheeta marks. So every time Sheeta wins, we're just like, yeah,
good job. I want to. So, Britt Baker's probably the best AEW Women's Champion there's been so far. I mean, and then there's Riho. Honestly, Riho's
also oddly the winningest woman in AEW, despite never having a long program.
Those first 3 reigns, or the Nyla Rose reign was all right. Nyla Rose hadn't found herself yet. Yeah. If she had been
Rose
champion,
also much better on Twitter than she is on TV.
But she's a lot better on TV now. If she had been, watch Nyla Rose versus Athena. If you get an opportunity.
Is that the
very good stuff? Yeah, it's finished. It's been finished.
Okay.
Yeah, Athena's in a program with Sheeta now. But yes. Nyla Rose and Athena had a great program. If this Nyla Rose had been champion, I'd be telling you a different story. But she was early. It was early on in her career, and it wasn't as good as the Riho run or the Sheeta run or the Baker run.
Yeah,
but the Baker one was probably the most high profile, and I miss her, and I want her back, and I'm really angry that she wasn't Mercedes' first fucking feud. It seems so built in. It would have been the high quality star power match that AEW wanted, and that they wanted out of Britt versus Saraya.
Okay,
and she just didn't fucking. We're not gonna get.
Oh my God, he went away. Yeah, I totally get that. I knew the Saraya thing was just for a night, but like I guess I could just be happy for her, right? I didn't get it. I didn't understand the We Were Rocking stuff, but
I'm alive.
Yes, you are fantastic. I tried.
What are you talking about? You talking about
I was mentioning that.
Sakura?
No, I was talking about the Saraya thing being for pop, and that was nice, even though I didn't get the We Will Rock You thing. But whatever, Queen.
Fucking bitch. Took it from the Queen Emmy.
Yes,
that was unnecessary.
It was.
So Megan Bain, right, comes back from Japan, and I thought she was imminently going to be on television. I don't know what the fuck happened. She's chilling. She's posting selfies and shit. Maybe they're waiting for the pay-per-view. Very, very nice ones.
I kind of thought that, like, it's one of those things where, like, if you're like a person the size of Megan Bain, I think, well, that's a main event character, right? I think you just have to be. Stardom treated her that way.
I mean, should she just come in or steamroll Tony Storm? That'd be hilarious. No, don't do that.
I'm not saying steamroll Tony Storm, but like you've got to come in and you've as like this massive, imposing looking woman, and you've got to be like, oh, you're a step above the rest because look at you. Otherwise, like, what's the point of that presentation? It's a problem I have with a lot of guys. I like, why bring in 7 foot tall Big Bill and not have him be scary 7 foot tall motherfucker?
I think that's a problem with a lot of just so many different things in wrestling that we we introduce this outlandish idea, and then they become like a normal person on the roster. Like, yeah, we have a dude that can control flames. Who doesn't?
One of our unsigned jobbers apparently has cold powers.
It happens. Come here, Killer Frost.
Lady Frost. Killer Frost.
Oh shit, that's right. Jesus says
it's a DC product.
Jesus says Camille versus Megan. I forgot that
I don't know if Camille's coming in.
I forgot that Camille had not signed with anybody yet. Because like WWE offered her the developmental deal,
She was like,
and then
bitch.
she said go eat a dick, and then she went backstage and showed up at Dynamite.
Yeah.
Or I mean backstage, not on television. So we'll see, man. They got the pay-per-view coming up, and I imagine that they're saving some surprises for that because they've signed they've already filled their fucking roster, their dynasty, quote unquote. I don't know. Well, I don't know how many others we need. So now you just need to start bringing people back that are on the roster. Bring back your Brits, your fucking Jamie Hayter in a perfect world. But we'll see. We'll fucking see. Bring back MJF. He is he's been gone since World's End, right? He's been gone since AEW World's End. They removed him from the roster. They removed him from the shop now.
Okay.
It's got people asking, did he actually show up at WrestleMania? I mean, I'm still gonna go with a firm, hard no, but I appreciate the effort. I think it's a step a little far. Like we took him off the shop, like, oh shit, so you're gonna shut the money down too? Like, oh, okay. Interesting. WWE didn't even shut the money down. They still sell you your fucking fired clothes, but at a discount.
If WWE shuts the money down, they're gone.
Because usually, even if you get fired, you can still buy the shirts for like $5.99. You know, like
I remember when Punk was first gone. They were just like, "Yo, his shirts are $2, dog."
Yeah, exactly.
They're this close to just giving them away. Just put it in every purchase you get, free CM Punk swag.
I think that this is a big old MJF work, and not that I don't want to be worked. Like I'm fine. I like that shit. I actually appreciate it more when I don't know what the fuck is going on. But
I actually despise this weird attitude about fans who don't want to be worked.
Yeah, like oh look,
but want the show to be good. What?
You're not gonna get me. They're that actually reminds me of the Ridge Holland thing on Tuesday.
Oh my god.
He fucking came on and he like said he was gonna retire, and everyone was like, "Shut the fuck up, Ridge. Nobody wants to hear that shit." I think they did cheer. They cheered that he was retiring, which makes it suck in your brain when you know you're not retiring. And it's like they wanted me to go.
They actually wanted to go.
They actually wanted me to go. Fuck. I hate wrestling.
Yeah.
No, this MJF thing is interesting because he really built his whole 2024 was going to be built around the idea that he could be negotiating between WWE and AEW, and that he was going to be the biggest free agent in the world at the time. And then AEW actually stumbled upon the 3 biggest free agents in a long time. So now MJF is like, wait a minute. They all took my gimmick. Every single one of them. Like, I got to come up with a whole new shit. Because if he comes back now, taking us to its ultimate destination. If MJF comes back now, he's got to deal with the devil people, the Undisputed Kingdom. They jumped him. They killed him. They took him off television. Adam Cole, his former best friend, betrayed him, ruined his life. Still injured. They can't even blow that off. So now what's he going to do? Fight the henchman? Not going to waste 6 weeks of MJF fighting fucking henchmen? Like, as good as Roderick Strong is, as
you
good
don't want
as
to see
Wardlow
MJF
is,
versus Matt Taven?
I would rather die. You hear me, Greg? Die. Die. D-I-E. I would rather leave my whole family behind and escape this plane. No, I don't want to see MJF versus Matt Taven. I want MJF to come back and just act like that shit didn't even happen. He grabs the mic and he says, Adam Cole, when your leg is fine, I'll fucking deal with you. But Okada, like I want him to just be like, Adam, you're the only person I have an issue with. I'll deal with you when I find you. Wardlow, you're a loser. Don't get anywhere near me. Doesn't even address the other three. Fucking Okada, call out Will Ospreay, call out Swerve. Don't even get involved. Stick MJF immediately in the highest level match you can, and get that ball back rolling with him, because fuck all that.
The Okada
Honestly,
match is kind of interesting, if only for all the shit that he talked about New Japan.
I kind of want to get back to the MJF that appeared just when he had something to say and just to have one of the best matches on the fucking card. He'd just be like, I'm MJF. I'm mad about this bullshit, but I'm contractually obligated to be here. Like, I fucking hate you all.
I guess that's the tragedy of having to be the top guy. You gotta do top guy shit, right?
That's all. That's yeah. I mean, the MJF conversation makes me sad because a lot of people act like, it got bad. Like, it wasn't the world title run that just staled out and got bad. It was so many circumstances at the end there. We still had that first half, which was actually really good. It was so successful that we accidentally pushed the whole company in that direction. Like, people are going back now and they're rewatching All In and they're like, oh no, this match actually sucks now. I was like, but you fucking loved it. Like, you loved it when you watched it.
I am on record as saying it sucked from the beginning.
I don't want to hear anything from anybody who enjoyed it in the beginning, because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was a choice not to turn Cole right then and there. I thought it was really weird to extend it, and now we find out that I was right. But I never had an issue with the match.
AEW hit you with the fucking the Hickman shit. Like, what if we just stay with Krakoa?
Stop! No, no, phase 2. No,
Krakoa doesn't fall.
Then he won't jump off the ramp. Please fix this.
What if we just sell 5 X-Men books?
Fuck. No, the Cole and MJF story, the match, when it was the only thing like it on the show, it was fine. I was absolutely okay with it. And then other things started leaking in. And then it started becoming bigger and taking up more segments on this show. They would do like 4 MJF, Adam Cole, Devil segments on a 2-hour show. It's like, whoa, you've overexposed him.
Adam.
Oh, man. I don't blame MJF for that shit. I don't blame MJF for that shit at all, man. Remember, you motherfuckers were screaming for that kangaroo kick. Don't give me that shit now. All of a sudden, you're fucking, you're better than this. You are not better than this. If MJF came back on Wednesday and he put his fucking hands in front of him like a pouch, you will lose your shit. I don't want to hear this revisionist garbage. Honestly, it makes me laugh. At least Greg is consistent.
Whenever you say that, like, oh man, like those DSR guys just dick right at AEW, it's like, oh, so you don't listen to the show?
No, not at all.
You don't hear me.
People's take on MJF versus Cole and Joe versus Punk at AEW All In is nasty, says Jesus. Listen, there's been another weird conversation about Joe versus Punk at All In. So one dude,
I am unaware of this conversation.
One of the Twitter dudes, I don't know, who knows the fucking name, but he basically called the Joe versus Punk match one of the best matches of the decade. And everybody else looked
not even as good as their old matches.
Yeah. Well, everybody else looked back like, well, I don't know about all that. Like, and then surprisingly,
I mean, it was by no means bad, but sir,
surprisingly, a lot of people have fought back. Like, no, this is one of the best matches AEW's ever done. And I'm like, where the fuck was I? I thought this was okay. I thought it was fine.
I thought it was solid. It's what I expect out of Samoa Joe and CM Punk in their 40s.
I mean, I thought it was good. I remember liking it. What is going on? Stop. I remember liking the match. I remember liking the show.
I remember being very happy to see Punk and Joe in an arena this massive.
I'm sorry, my wife is just pulling at me like I'm not live or recording, but it's weird.
That's exactly what she's trying to do.
She's trying to take my cookies, but there were only 4 cookies in the pack at the beginning.
Never mind.
No, like actual fudge rounds.
Yeah, I got you. I got it. You said there was only 4.
It's not right, man. But what the fuck was I talking about? See, I'm really concerned with these cookies.
Punk and Joe.
The Punk and Joe match. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was like.
I thought it was a good match. Yeah, that's it.
I think it was the best match of all time, or even the best match of the decade. But it did start making me think about what the best matches of the decade were, and the more and more I thought of it, the further and further Joe versus Punk fell down. So I was like, yeah, no, this is not. That's fucked up. Why would you set them up like that? So speaking of All In,
it's got to be a style thing, which is why I don't understand why people fight with Meltzer, because it's a style thing. It's not an objective mathematical opinion. It's like, this is what I think was a 5-star match, and a lot of that has to do with what appeals to me, because there can't be any other way for me to grade it. You know, it'd be the same as you asking me, and I was just like, man, I was really into that match with Bryan Danielson and Rocky Romero. Nobody else talks about that match, but I like shoot style shit. It appealed to me.
And they are known to have good matches.
Yeah, in that style.
Yeah. Listen, the Joe Punk match I thought was great. It was great on a show full of good matches. I remember All In being like, okay, all these matches are good, but like then All Out has all the great matches. What the fuck happened? That was, speaking of All In though.
Which ironically was supposed to be the pay-per-view that was depleted because of All In.
Yeah, right. Those sneaky bastards. You can't talk about All In without talking about Brawl In, I assume. But
I thought we were over that.
Well, before we move on though, Jesus did bring the tweet that I was referencing in its entirety. I agree, getting your ass kicked by the worst UFC fighter in history, who then went on to have the best matches of the decade immediately after being relegated to one of the worst. After then being relegated to one of the worst promotions on earth, where your gimmick is crying, that happened, is extremely funny. It's actually harder to understand when I read it than from my memories.
Put it back
but it's like, I think I understood it better when I was just trying to remember it.
Put it back up. Okay.
So this is in reference to Jack Perry, who we were going to talk about right now. Basically says Jack Perry
get his tweet.
It's a Snowboy tweet.
Okay.
Yeah, Snowboy.
Okay, I've seen that name around.
Oh shit! Thanks for bringing that up, Jesus. Nick Aldis crying in an interview about how they created AEW without him. Like, bro, if you don't get your big boring bitch ass the fuck out of here, you think I don't remember how you blocked me for no reason?
Pretty sure Aldis said no.
Didn't he say that earlier? Wasn't that one of the things he said originally when the fucking question was going around about how he got left behind?
I remember this. It may not be the right statement. I remember there being a statement of him saying he could help build, and we're not obviously going to go into the results of it all. He could be the guy who helps build this NWA thing, and also gets his best friend a job. Or he could be a guy who gets caught in the shuffle of the AEW thing, which a lot of guys did.
I imagine Nick Aldis.
I thought there was something. I thought there was something noble about also, helping your boy get some work.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out for everybody else, but he came in and he says He said in the interview that he felt like they plotted to create AEW without him. He's like, well, Cody had a pipeline to a billionaire. I only had a pipeline to a millionaire. It's like, dog, you chose that. But you know what? I don't want your big boring ass in there anyway. Get the fuck out of here. Go away, Nick Aldis. What
I have a more complicated relationship with Nick Aldis than you do.
No,
but-
mine's is very simple. You fucking suck. I fucking Nick Aldis' best match is a 3-star Cody Rhodes match. Like, get the fuck out of here. No.
I think the All-In match is more than 3 stars.
I know. I'm being a dick. I don't think it was that bad. It was actually pretty good, but
yes.
Fuck Nick Aldis anyway. He like randomly blocking me. I'll never forgive you, you big Roblox character shaped motherfucker.
Roblox.
Jesus.
I will stand by the fact whether it is inclusive or independent of Nick Aldis.
He got square shapes, man.
That first season of NWA Power is very good wrestling TV.
It is though. Eddie Kingston, Ricky Starks, Nick Aldis, Ziggy Dice.
It was also written very well. Like I think Aldis, whether or not you find him to be an interesting, like charismatic person, was put into some interesting character segments. Like they made me care about Tim fucking Storm. Cause I was like, you go, old man, you live your dream.
I remember the first it was Dave Lagana produced and written, right? In the beginning before he came.
There were lessons to be learned from that show about character and just getting people into character.
I think the biggest lesson is don't put all of your creative eggs in one basket.
That's also true.
The basket might be rotten.
Yeah. Sometimes that basket goes away and then you find out that you don't have much to work with.
I don't imagine that he would have been. I think it's funny the idea that he thinks he would have been lost in the shuffle in the early AEW. I guess as opposed to being
the guy on top. Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you see any other position as being lost in the shuffle, then yeah, because I don't think he would have been the guy on top in any circumstance. Like,
no, not at all. Because you could tell from day one, it's like, okay, belt on Jericho, good exposure, top guy, top name, personal and future project Adam Page. Like,
that's exactly because I remember the first 4 champions. People were like, "We figured it out." God, I miss those days. God, everything was so simple and felt like there was a direction.
Oh man, direction! What an idea. Yeah, like it was easy to think that you would have gotten lost in the shuffle because there was clearly, like, that is the difficult thing about pro wrestling on all fronts. You've got a plan, and then a bunch of other things happen, and people's desires, especially in those moments, sort of knock up against your plan. You know, people have liked Swerve and wanted Swerve to be in a high position for a long time. It's like, okay, but we're doing something. I need you to just sit back for a bit. No, Swerve now.
I guess looking at the roster now, I think if Nick Aldis, well, I'm trying to, because back then it was set, there were some things that were set in stone, but there were also some really malleable things. Because if you remember, like, the way it was originally set up, like, Jimmy Havoc was supposed to be like a big deal, and it wasn't the eventual firing that fucked him. It was Darby Allin just existing, just coming in.
It certainly helped.
Yeah, Darby comes in and he's like, it's 16 times better than Jimmy Havoc is, and he's got all the same aesthetic. Yeah. So they're like, we love this guy. And I think that Nick Aldis was unique enough that he would have gotten a better chance than some of the people who actually did get lost in the shuffle. I'm like,
luckily enough, Darby's dark past apparently got freed up better than Jimmy's.
At least Darby got people to clear his name. Jimmy Havoc just had people shitting all over him. Like, you gotta
Yeah.
go. You
Yeah.
gotta go, big dog. What happened?
But
You
then,
clock
like
out.
if you're Nick Aldis and maybe you do show up on a few weeks of those like AEW TVs,
He's gonna
and
get
like
shown up.
maybe there's a place for you in the future. Maybe there isn't. And I would argue with you that he would end up in the place you didn't like, which is Cody probably would have protected him. He would have ended up in the vaunted Codyverse.
You know what? It might have helped the Codyverse to have a second and not Cody just randomly running around trying to find like
Guys to fight him.
Yeah, who next? Come here, Anthony Ogogo. Oh hell no.
Yeah. I think he would have ended up in the Codyverse because I think Cody would have been like, "I'll work with you. We can keep doing our thing."
Yeah, Cody could have protected him because I think otherwise they start putting Aldis in with the guys who work different styles, and he ends up getting like the fans end up turning on him because his style.
He didn't work Flip Gordon.
his style of wrestling in 2019 AEW, I think they would have thrown garbage at him. So we'll see. We'll see. I think we'll see though.
There's also but what I meant to say was like you're on those few weeks of AEW TV. Maybe they've got something for you. Maybe they don't. Maybe there's a place to ascend to. Maybe there isn't. And then you watch Jon Moxley waltz in, and now you know your spot is gone.
That's fucked up.
Like you've got to be honest with yourself there. Like once Moxley walks in, it's just like, well, that's not gonna happen.
It's over. I'm cooked.
Like if you're looking for that top spot, you're just like, I gotta deal with Jericho, this Adam Page kid, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega. Oh, great, Christian's here. What?
Yeah, no, I guess, I mean, did it work out for all this? I don't know. I think he's got a WWE job.
He's got the big job where he doesn't take bumps. I think it worked out for him great.
I mean, but Doug, listen to this shit. He doesn't take bumps. He tore his fucking tricep last week. What the fuck? Yeah, he's injured now. He needs surgery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's ridiculous. He's exercising. So it could have happened in the gym.
In fairness,
didn't
Batista do that?
I've lots of suspiciously large wrestlers do that. What do you mean it just tore? Yeah, it just tore.
It's tore, brother.
Okay.
I was jogging and then I wasn't.
And you were just jogging. Just jogging. Yep. Okay. We'll just ignore the elevated testosterone levels here. No, so the final thing we had to talk about tonight is a funny one.
I'm a very testosterone-filled man. What can I say?
The Wrestling Observer newsletter reported on Friday morning that after Jack Perry was sent home from AEW All In at Wembley, he never heard back from Tony Khan.
Mm-hmm.
They said he apologized and he kept texting.
Par for the course.
They said he kept texting about how he never meant to cause any trouble. He was sorry, but he didn't hear back until he heard from the company's lawyers. And at which point he finally did speak to Khan. He apologized to him. And Meltzer says what they're doing in Japan now is a storyline. At which point Jack Perry responds to this. He sends in, I don't know, a statement or a phone call or a couple angry DMs on Twitter. And he says, actually, he requested his release from AEW and was denied. He says he's still on the contract, but there's no plans to bring him back. He says he hasn't spoken to Tony Khan in months. Nor has anything he done in New Japan been cleared by AEW, like tearing the contract or calling himself a scapegoat. He says he never apologized to anybody. And that when he finally did hear from the company's lawyers, he told them he would not initiate first contact. So Tony Khan finally set up a meeting before Full Gear in LA where they talked about plans to bring him back in December. But after Punk returned to the WWE, they scrapped those plans. Perry says then he worked with Rocky Romero to set up the current New Japan run. He said today in a backstage interview with New Japan that
we have some new content.
yeah, and I fucking had it open in front of me, and then I fucking lost. I lost the motherfucker. It's just responding. God damn it! I'll put it up right now. Thankfully, it wasn't that fucking long ago. But here we go. No, that's not it. Oh, it's Lost in Dynamite coverage. Well, in that case.
Oh my god.
Anyway, going
How
from
recent? Oh no.
It's today. Oh, Mike. Yay! I'm dead. Anyway, it was literally the fucking conversation happened today. Brian, Jesus says Brian and Dave are super cooked. Like they're always wrong with their WWE and AEW news these days. Yeah, the Dave Meltzer thing is an interesting. It's really it's sad for me to see in a way because I guess I grew up under the tree of Dave Meltzer in a way.
Sure.
When I was learning about wrestling and really learning about wrestling, he was one of the people I'd listen to regularly, and he was very plugged in. But I think the time has passed him by now. I don't think he has any sources, any real sources left, any good ones. And
interesting.
And I think when he speculates, he's doing so from an old, outdated mindset, and he's continuing to find himself wrong. He's not able to see things the way they are now, and it's his work is suffering. He's constantly wrong or being called out or getting overshadowed by Sean Ross Sapp. It's really fucking disappointing watching him lose the spot like that. So for you, old man, I'll tell you right now, I'm going to take your spot for myself. For you, though, because I hate that you lost it to these goof bags. So I'll take it for you, and I'll hold on to it and give it the respect it deserves because he created this spot. So I hate to see him lose it like this.
Are you going to start giving out stars?
I could. I don't know that I'd be 5, though. I like a 10 scale more than a 5 scale.
It gives you a lot more room to work.
It does, and I can be really, really precise. I don't have to play around and break my scale and do 6 out of 5 stars. Like, it could just be 10. Like, damn, that was 10 stars. I would never have a 10 star. Like, I don't even know if I can think of a 10-star match right now.
I get it because for me I can. I get it because it can be really weird in the sense we were just like in my head I'm just like 3 is good, 4 is great, and I'm just like it's a little better than good, but it damn sure ain't great.
3.5. Yeah, I'll take it from you, old man. I'll hold it warm for you, and I'll do it with this Dirt Sheet Radio banner here, just in case you guys don't like the term Dirt Sheet. I'll wave it like a flag and wear it on my chest. Fucking Jack Perry says that again. He's not working with AEW. If they don't want him, then that's fine. He'll go to all around the world. He doesn't need AEW. He has no use for people who aren't loyal to him, but he will remember the people who were. So I've got a few thoughts about this.
Let's hear it.
I think Meltzer was probably right about this Jack Perry thing.
Okay.
So like I think
all that just to flower him.
Yeah, I think
what you just said was on the most recent show, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that Jack Perry responded to fix the details and to protect the integrity of the work.
Hmm.
I think which is genius, because he responded to this with a true version of Dave's secondhand story.
Okay.
But there's things in there that don't make sense. Like the idea that he could go to New Japan and do a character that
Independent
rips
of the
up
company.
it versus independent of the company. Though I imagine if he worked with Rocky would be the one to talk to AEW for him.
Right.
But like the idea that he didn't have to clear that he's gonna call himself the scapegoat and referencing that he's being used as a scapegoat, or that he can rip an AEW contract with the AEW logo on it on New Japan television, and the people at New Japan wouldn't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they'll be like, "No way, you're gonna fuck our partnership up because you're an angry little man."
Yeah, in most situations that would be incredibly taboo, because it's like homie, are you airing your laundry on our show with the
Yeah,
guys
like,
we're
keep that
cool
shit.
with?
Keep that shit to yourself. So that alone tells me, like, okay, he's protecting the work. But now this new statement where he references people who were loyal to him, I'm like, he's absolutely gonna come back and be part of the elite. Like he's going to come back to AEW and show up with the fucking Young Bucks. There's no world where now we're not only doing all this fucking scapegoat references and ripping contracts and all this shit, talking about how he got left by all the people in the world except for the ones that were loyal to him. You're already telling the story. So I thought it was really funny, interesting and fun, honestly, to see this go down. It's just that it plays off of a very real sadness I have about Dave Meltzer and his position in the business today, and his inability to get like real scoops anymore. But yeah, man, did you have
It makes you wonder who
anything?
he's talking to, I guess, because like
The Jerichos, the fucking, you know, the people
because
that he
so
has
like the funny
previous
thing here
relationships
is
with.
a lot of people think that he would have a direct line to the Jacksons.
For what it's worth, I don't know that was ever true.
Okay.
I
Because
mean,
I've heard, and obviously this is all bullshit because like these people talking, like when that story first came out, a lot some reactions I got were yeah, I wonder who's feeding him that story, her young, because the belief is that he has a direct line to the Young Bucks and their besties.
yeah, that's why all his stories are so accurate. Yeah, that would make his life a lot easier. I'm sure he wouldn't be embarrassed like this over and over again.
Yeah.
It's not just WWE either. He's getting screwed. I mean, it's not just AEW either. Like he's getting screwed in WWE. Like that fucking thing about The Rock not being able to curse and all that shit. He's probably got people in the company still, both companies, I'm sure. But he's got this way of like if I hear from 5 people who don't like CM Punk,
Okay,
in the locker room, and you report it as people in the locker room have begun to get tired of CM Punk,
sure.
It's not an accurate reflection of 5 people out of a 250 wrestler locker room. It just sounds like people in the locker room. Like it sounds like all 250 wrestlers are fucking mad at CM Punk now.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of irresponsible old man reporting like we're dealing with now. And I think that's the kind of stuff that cost him even more sources. Like I think the people that he used to talk to won't talk to him anymore. I think the people that he does have left are extremely biased, but I mean everybody's biased. I mean they have their own way of seeing things, and Meltzer is not.
And they have agendas.
Yeah, it's like because it's not like they're gossips. You know, people gossip. They like to talk shit, and when people talk shit, they like to talk shit about the shit they don't like. So when they write Meltzer and they tell him like, oh, you know, this fucking guy is blah blah blah, and Meltzer reports that he heard this thing, and I don't know if they write him like, yeah, I'm sure people have used Meltzer like that, like a manipulative tool, like I'm gonna use this to create a reaction,
Of
and
course.
but I think when the gossip people write him and they just give him little bits and shit, I think they just want to talk shit. They just want people to talk shit to. They want to be able to say, look at this shit that happened. You fucking laugh about it. And then Meltzer reports that you said it and they both fucking now he got the story out there, but it's irresponsible. It's like this is a new world now. The internet makes this kind of reporting you really got to be on your shit, old man. Like you can't. I'm sure he got away with a lot of speculation back in the day, mixed in with source based information. But it's probably easier for him to speculate back then. He had a better grasp on things. He had a better understanding of the business.
I always wondered if people were like, not if people. I always wondered what people were getting paid
to be a source, right?
Yeah, like what amount of money was worth the ratting?
I wonder how I don't know that by like the 2000s or late 90s that he would pay anybody. I think the system had been established to the point where people would just go to him like, this is where I can air my grievance. This is the guy I can use to put something out that I need out there. He becomes a tool for them. He becomes a tool for them, and then they're a tool for him. They're giving him information. But the two-way street is a one-way street now. I don't think that I think that using him as a tool backfired on everyone. Sure. And I mean, and now nobody wants to do it anymore. Like, it's kind of what
I imagine there's also a lot of people who I imagine at some point there's a lot of people who realize that like Meltzer has no loyalty to you and will air your shit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the Booker T and Sami Zayn thing from last week, or Booker T had said like, you know, Sami was telling me he was really sad about the reactions that he was getting from the fans, and they asked Sami Zayn about it today, and he's like, you know, I spoke to him about that on a plane. We were just sitting together. Like, I thought it was really rude to find it on the internet. Like, what the fuck? Why did you tell all those people that? It's the same thing with Dave. Like, wait a minute, Dave. We were just talking shit. Why did I read this in the Observer?
Yeah, right.
What just happened?
I told you that in confidence.
That's why I always ask my friends, do you want me to say this or are you going to get in trouble? My concern is always like, are you the only person who knows? Because if I fucking say this now, they're going to know it came from you. So you should double check. But the Jungle Boy thing is interesting to me because it's very obvious that he'll be back. I don't even. I think it's. But I do appreciate the effort to muddy the water and be like, maybe not, because that always makes everything really cool. Because maybe not.
One could argue, even though it's silly, that if we're playing the game that Meltzer is, you know, very close with the Bucks, that he's playing the game for them. But
I believe
it's just as possible that Meltzer is being worked here.
I don't know that it's like a full-on work. I believe that he definitely was hearing from people. I'm sure he did hear from the Bucks. I think that a lot of people write Dave with their own ideas of things.
Sure.
And I don't know that it's always as easy as malicious as like some people want to believe it is. Like, I'm gonna create this lie so that this person gets a bad reputation. I think the people that talk to Meltzer or talk to Sean Ross Sapp, they believe in what the fuck they're saying. And they're like, this motherfucker got Colt Cabana fired. Like, they believe that shit. They didn't go to Meltzer and like make it up. Like, yeah, let's make up the rumor that we think Punk got Colt Cabana fired. Like, no, the fucking locker room truly believes that shit. That's the part that should probably have been addressed. Like, we should go into the locker room and address everyone's beliefs and fix things.
Sure.
No, we
That
all ran
that
into the
that
sheets.
also opens an interesting door for like whether or not it is true. We can engage in all sorts of public sabotage and character takedowns by just having Meltzer put shit out.
Well, it is true. Well, I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, ironically, the only person that we know for sure for a fact that was talking to the sheets is CM Punk, because Sean Ross Sapp put him out there and said it. But I feel like it had.
But
Like,
I mean to say like the things that Meltzer puts out could not be true, but who gives a shit? We've publicly, defamed him.
yeah. But like I said, again, I just think that he's reporting what he hears from people, whether he knows if it's true or not. Which is like for example, I hear that, I don't know, Dr. Luther's wife doesn't. She tells me that Britt Baker's a bitch. She doesn't fucking. I don't like that bitch.
She's bad to the younger girls.
She's got an attitude. I've seen her be bad to the young girls. I've seen her ignore girls, and then I say that, like, I repeat that. I don't know. I heard Britt Baker's a bitch. I heard she's been had an attitude against a young girl. We don't even know what the situation was. We don't know why. Like, maybe they had an argument. We don't even know if it really happened. We got this third-hand information that we're that we're fucking going off of and creating our scenarios off of and ruining harmonious locker rooms with. Oh God. And it still falls out to this day. The fun time in pro wrestling. The WrestleMania week is here though. It's upon us. And during WrestleMania week, Dirt Sheet Radio will be streaming every single day live.
God help us all.
Sometimes multiple times in the day. On Monday, as always, we'll do a WWE Raw post-show rewind. On Tuesday after NXT, we'll do our NXT post-show rewind. On Wednesday for Dynamite, we will do our Dynamite rewind, and then we'll do Dirt Sheet Radio in the middle of the night, as always. If you know we're here, come see us, and if you don't, you missed out. On Friday, we will do WWE SmackDown post-show rewind and the Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor post-show rewind stream.
Oh God, that's the thing.
On Saturday, we will be doing the NXT Stand and Deliver, not a post-show rewind, but a watch-along. We will be watching NXT Stand and Deliver with you live as it happens. Saturday night, we will be doing the WrestleMania Night 1 post-show rewind. And Sunday night, we'll be doing the WrestleMania Night 2 post-show rewind. That's right. That is 10 WrestleMania week streams from Dirt Sheet Radio.
And 10. After that, John will do his best to repair his relationship with his wife, who decides to leave him because he hasn't spent time with her.
Yeah, after I hibernate. I'll see. We'll work this out in 6 months. Man, it is going to be quite the fucking week. So I hope you urchins appreciate it.
Poor exhausted bitch.
Oh yeah, I'll be here for every single one of them. So I'll see you guys on those shows. But before we go, there's a lot of stuff we have to tell you about.
Shout out to anybody who is in Baltimore or has family and friends in Baltimore. That shit that happened this weekend was wild. I hope your friends and family are okay.
Yeah, we almost lost one of our fans, one of our top fans. Yeah. It's scary stuff. I definitely thoughts, prayers, good vibrations out to anybody who's been affected by that. Yes. If you're a Dirt Sheet Radio listener, if you're not, if you just have friends or family, just fucking hope it all turns out as good as possible for you. Because damn, that was scary.
Call your friends, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, tell them you love them.
Yeah.
Seriously. But Greg, what are they doing on Major Issues? I have no idea.
You're full of shit. Because John will be back this week as he was last week, discussing maybe the most influential Marvel comic book in comic book history, the Ultimate Universe's version of the Avengers that had far-reaching implications in a little indie project called the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Small little studio. They make little flicks.
Yeah.
The Ultimate.
It's got a cult fan base for its niche product.
The Ultimates is such an interesting book. It's it's so dated, but it's from a time that I'm fond of, so I don't hate it. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. But like Greg said, it's very influential, and you'll see a lot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in it, as well as it's the episode is also really an Ultimate Universe retrospective because it's kind of hard to talk about the Ultimates without kind of getting into all the
damn thing,
all the things that come after it, the ultimatums and every goddamn thing that came out of that Ultimate Universe, good or bad. So check us out there tomorrow, this morning, right now. The episode should be out today, Thursday, March 28th. So the latest episode of Dirt Radio should be Ultimates Volume 1, Part 2, Volume 2, Part 1. Fuck my life. The Ultimates.
No, yeah, I don't know. You said 6 issues, so it might be Volume 2.
Well, because they have a Volume 2. Like the Ultimates Volume 2 is the sequel. But Ultimates Volume 1 is 13 issues split into 2 arcs. So it's like, whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, catch me on Major Issues. Catch the Delphin Pod podcasts on all Delphin Pod networks.
Episode 7 to 12 is currently not up. But it will be.
It will. I promise. The Delphin Pod Podcast Network, where you can find podcasts involving cinema, pop culture, and one little podcast about professional wrestling called Dirt Sheet Radio. I don't know if you heard of it.
Campaign to have them rename the group into the Super Delphin Pod.
Super Delphin Pod, yes. But definitely Google Delphin Pod. Check out the Revenge of the Sequel show, Revenge of the Sequel, where they cover sequels, movie sequels. Countdown to Skywalker for the Star Wars content, Countdown to Infinity for the Marvel content. They're doing a Bad Batch recap show right now. Dune, Oscars recaps, all types of fucking content. The Delphin Pod podcasts are for you, so go check them out there.
John recently had the Oscars moment that will never be topped.
Is it the naked John Cena?
No.
Oh.
it is Godzilla and his daddy both getting an Oscar on the same night.
That was incredible. Not Godzilla.
Not only does Godzilla get its Oscar, but the reason he exists.
It's incredible. Just full on.
The real life reason Godzilla exists got the Oscar the same day.
You can't make this stuff up. But
stranger than fiction, baby.
Just be sure to shop on our Dirt Sheet Radio Shopify store. We don't charge people for things, but we do need money if we're gonna keep this thing going. So if you'd like, please shop with us. Check this out. It's pretty funny. If you're watching the stream, then you'll be looking at a Dwayne Johnson Pikachu. And if you're listening to the stream,
the most electrifying Pokemon in the Kanto region today.
If you're listening to the stream, you won't be able to picture what a Dwayne Johnson Pikachu looks like. So you'll have to log on to that Dirt Sheet Radio Shopify store where we will have merchandise with the fuzzy little fella on it. My wife runs that store and she has a lot of fun designing things. She was like, I want to design a shirt. And I was like, The Rock is the big shit right now. So, I mean, check this entrance out. This is really cool. See if it inspires you. And she comes back like 5 hours later. She drew a goddamn Pikachu with doing the people's eyebrow, wearing a fucking vest with the goddamn tattoos and everything. And I was like, Holy shit! So
Yes. I know it's
check
not
that
very
out.
contemporary, but that image makes you want like a Shield Squirtle Squad.
That's incredible. Commission my wife. She'll draw it. She'll draw it for you. She likes money.
as we all do. Capitalism.
Oh
It rules
shit.
us all.
The couple other things. Check out
That is at
Monk.
least until we get to the Star Trek future where money is no longer a thing.
Hopefully. Monk, MONQ.com. Promo code DSR10. 10% off of your Monk aromatherapy products. I don't know how aromatherapy works or what to do with it, so I don't know how to frame that. But if this matters to you, then I'm sure that
The
you know.
smells make you feel good, John.
Do they though? Could you make
Some
it smell
people.
like my high school crush?
Oh my god. Stop it.
Have some unresolved trauma
A little bit.
there. Hey, listen, there's nobody listening. We're at the back of the show. We fucking I was in high school and I fell in love with this girl, but
Oh
she
my
was like
God.
get this. She was in special ed. I was like, fuck.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So now I have to handle this with kid gloves because she's not there's nothing wrong with her. She's in special ed for a fucking attitude problem. So, like I go down there and I'm like, she's shown interest. Today's the day where I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna make my move. I fucking go downstairs.
You're not gonna throw away your shot, John.
No, I'm not today. Today is my day. I was probably singing going down those stairs. And I go to speak to this bitch, and some dude is grabbing her up in the air by her butt cheeks. And I was like, fuck! She's for the streets. I can't like.
Oh my god.
So I left. I didn't let her know that I came, and I just left. I was like, I
And
have
then
to
John
deal
starts
with
singing.
this.
And then John starts singing "After Today" from the Goofy movie.
Things will be going my way. They weren't. After today, that tomorrow never came, damn it.
Oh man.
Years
if
later,
you've
she
got 2
actually,
hours to kill, watch the Goofy movie, ladies and gentlemen. It is fantastic.
if you've never watched the Goofy movie, you should get the fuck out of here and go watch the Goofy movie. It's an incredible piece of cinema. It's a beautiful, heartwarming tale of a father who just don't know when to quit. Now, there's also the extremely goofy movie. You didn't think it can get so I didn't think it could get more goofy. Guess what? It's extremely goofy.
So 90s.
I love that movie. I love it with all my heart. I don't think I love it as much as the first one, though the first one is like the obvious superior movie. But like
I never actually
love
got to watch the second one.
I wish that you had, because I don't know how it works if you watch it now. Like I don't know if it's still gonna be as good, because it certainly isn't. Like, the first one is just good all around. You know what I mean? Like
Still
it's
good.
really fucking good.
It's an immortal work.
The second one is great in its own quirky way, because it kind of throws away some things. Like you never see Roxanne again. Like, what the fuck? We went through 2 hours of trying to pine for this dog woman, and then we jump 3 years and she's gone. She's absolutely gone. Doesn't even exist anymore.
Even when they came back, she was still gone. She's like a picture in his wallet.
That blows. So fucking. But beyond that, you get an awesome story of Goofy trying to chase his son to college because he just can't. He just can't let go. It's funny. He actually, it's not his fault. He lost his job and he had to go to college to get a new one. But it's a great fucking movie. It's a good movie. Go check it out, especially if you love 70s music.
Also, isn't it an extremely goofy movie because of the X Games?
Yes.
Because the X Games were really big at that time.
It's a major part of the movie. Actually, because of the extremely goofy movie, I thought I was gonna go to college and join the X Games. I thought that's
Oh
just what
my
I
god.
thought that's just what you were afforded the opportunity to do when you go to college. Like, do you want to join the X Games? Yeah, I want to
You
join
want
the
to
X
ride your
Games.
bike in really funky ways.
Yeah, hell yeah, I can't fucking wait.
Reality has a weird way of setting in with you, John.
Yeah. No, I guess that's it from us. I don't really have much else to talk about this week.
No.
Thank you for joining us, all of you crazy fucking people. This late, this early, 6:30 in the morning. You're probably just now going to work. You missed half the episode. Just throw the shit back to the beginning.
You know what I
And
saw you know what I saw yesterday? Just
yeah.
a little side note that surprised me. For whatever reason, this was while I was playing 2K, so I was just like, I just threw the fucking NWA show on. I didn't know Paul Burchill came back.
Oh shit, me either. What the fuck?
Yeah, fucking Paul Burchill's on the NWA show. Talking about he hasn't wrestled in years, but he came back, for his kids and shit. I was like, oh, cool, Paul.
I mean, I guess I'm happy for him, at least as long as he stays away from any incest angles.
Woof.
But yeah, man, that is us this week. We will be back for WrestleMania week. And as always, we will be streaming tonight for TNA Impact, tomorrow night for SmackDown, and the cycle continues. So check us out all over the internet. Follow us on all the platforms. We need that shit. We're trying to take over the world. We need your help. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Guns up.